Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. It is Block Wednesday today. We have block number 2, and I have a bunch of other things. So what I think we'll do is block number 2 first, and then we'll talk about the other things, which includes something exciting about Koala chairs. And that's what this is Koala Company's chairs, sewing chair that I use. And guess what? Guess what? We're going to talk about how one of you might get one of these. Let's go to the other side. So block number 2 is a really, really nifty block because it is such a great one for using up scraps if you like to do that. Otherwise, it's great to just have as a easy sew along block or easy block to do as you're doing other things. So it is called, I named this one, your favorite seasonal change for autumn. We are right now here in Virginia just sort of shifting into that crispness in the air. Our leaves, there's a few leaves that have changed, but not too much yet. It is right here at the end of September, so they'll start to change pretty quickly, I think, because that coolness has come in, and just the whole garden starts to change and go into a more autumnal look to it. Like I want to get some cabbages and the mums and things like that. So there's things that happen in the season. So when you do your block, I want you to tell me what those things are that really make you excited when fall comes. Maybe it's nothing, but think about it. Think positive about something that does that for you. Let me show you the pattern here today. We all can find something positive. There's always something positive. So it's all squares, 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 squares. For those of you who should be delighting in this, you're welcome. So there you go. Then I did double pages here. So we've got the layout, easy little 4 patches and squares. Then I did it on, here's your cheat sheet, just 1 page. And then what I did is a layout. So like this would be so perfect if you were playing around with your scraps. So that you could just, make these single blocks. Make this block here. Here we go. Make that block, tons and tons and tons of them, and then put them together. Now, of course, you could set these all different ways. You could do them sort of like, like a diamond, and then goes out like a trip around the world kind of an effect. And then if you want to color, there's a coloring page. Okay, we're going to we're going to look at the fabric because I'm working with fat 8s, and this is a lot of background, and I'm not going to be able to get it out of 1 fat 8th. So let's talk about that and what do we do? Because here, let me bring this up here. I was thinking, I would like to make this in one of the pink fabrics. There's some like sort of tonal pinks in this line that I'm using, like this. But the fat 8th is not going to, I didn't lay it out to see, but I think, you know what, I should do that. Hold on, I'm going to be right back. Here I set it up. What I've got is our fat 8th piece, which is 9 inches across by 22 inches down. And then we're going to need 8 of the larger squares and 16 of the small squares in the light fabric and 16 in the dark fabric. So if we need 8 of these, it's easy. These are locking, so it's 2, 4, 6, okay, 8. So you see right there, there's just not a lot of extra. So I need 16 of these lights. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get that many. 1, 2, okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, oops, 12, right? Okay, I'm not locking them. 12, 14. Okay, so what do we have? 14, 15, 16. Okay, so I can get that all. Look, I can get that all if I'm super frugal. Do you see? I have to have 3.5 plus 3.5 is 7, plus the 2 plus 3.5 plus 7, so that's 9. That's 9 inches across exactly. So what I want to do is cut this grouping here first because I have no leeway, none whatsoever. So let's go and do that. Well, that is dang exciting. If I cut, like I just showed you on the diagram, if I cut the 3.5, 3.5, and 2, if I do that all right off, if I do that right off this end, this is like a smidgen longer than 9. And so I can get those, and then there's more leeway. As you saw, there's more leeway, and there's a little leeway at the top. It's just this really, I gotta be really perfect in cutting all of those so I can fit them all in. But I need to know what the dark squares are gonna be. And so this would be very safe, because you would definitely see that little square. It would not blend in. It would be totally, totally safe and nice. And I could even use like this one with the black. That would be really nice because it gives a little bit more personality here. On the pink has a little bit. And then even if I did this pink with the big roses, but I'm gonna chop up the rose. The 3.5 would be great, which is actually not bad use, but because a 3.5 inch square finished, you would get like this, right, of that, which is pretty decent. And this black would really, really show up because it's not going to be competing with a lot of other pattern. So this is another one in the line that has the little bees on it. See the little bees, and it probably is not good with that one, but it would work with this one, I think, quite fine, and it would work with the little print quite fine. Now the one that's iffy, it would be this guy, and I think, is there a pink? Yes. See, like if I went really like this and here, it'd be fine because this is so light. But what I'm concerned about is what kind of image do I get when I cut a 2 inch out of this guy? Do I get much of anything? Is it going to compete? Because I also have this, so there it's like very tonal. It's kind of the opposite of these two, right? It's the opposite of these two combination. Here the big print is the pink, and the very tight small print is the black, and it's reversed here. My thing is like, what does a 2 inch square look like? And I think I'm going to sacrifice a little corner because you just never, where's my ruler? You never know what you're really going to get. And 2 inches, you're cutting 2 inches, which means it's 1.5 inches, which is pretty small. You're not really going to see a whole lot with 1.5 inches. Whoops. Okay, so what I've got now is it looks great in big print, and I have, okay, so I've got like the little duck, but he's like not fussy cut. So once I get, a 1/4 inch off, I'm going to take, half the duck butt away. But you still see part of the duck. So that actually could be very cute. He would be very cute fussy cut like that. So I'm debating because there's so many good ways I could go. And I was originally going to do this one. And I think I'm going to still do that one and do the bees. I think, no, maybe not. Maybe I'll do the roses. Oh, do you want to see this one? Oh, decisions. There's only 9 blocks in this whole thing, so I get to play with the fabrics again, except for whatever I use up. Whatever pink I use up now is done, because I do have, I cheated. I bought 2 fat 8. I don't know why, but I have a second one. But I'm trying not to use it. So I want to be like, maybe I should do this. Maybe this would be fun to see what I get. Like that. Okay. But the problem is there's a lot of, no, I'm just going on and on, aren't I? Okay. All right. I'm going to go with this guy. I'm going to go with this guy. Or would it be this guy? Let's see. I'm going to save the roses. I'm going to go back to this one. Oh, and I need to use my frugality. I need to be super frugal here. I need to do my 3.5 inches and I need to press it. Hold on. Okay, one thing you do not want to do not do this. Do not take the 3.5 and cut all the way across, because you have to get the 2 and 2, you have to get to 4 inches up here. So instead, what I'm going to do is my 2 by 4s right here. So I'm going to cut them first, and then that way I'm clear. I'm clear to go across. So here are 2 inches and 2 inches, right? 2 inches. Okay, so I have those guys. Now I can do the 3.5s. I can go across here and cut for 3.5. Got 3.5 and 3.5, and I'm only left going across with that little sliver. That's all that's left. Okay, so now what I can do is I can do another 3.5 by 3.5 on this side. I'm just following that diagram so that I do not mess up. So I can go up to here again. That's where I did the 2 inch. Okay, so I've got 3.5 and 3.5. And once again, just a little sliver. So I'm going to be using up most of this piece of fabric. And what's the one thing is, like, I didn't really want to go with this one because most of this block is reading whatever this fabric is, and I wanted to have it a little bit more texture rather than reading so solid. Although I do, darn it, I do love this duck. I don't know. I might do it on here. I haven't cut the black yet, so I have options. I'm just doing the pink right now. So at this point I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to do 4 more 3.5 inches, and I can just cut right, you know, I'm going on this far side from here, and I can cut the strip. So that way, this is like super frugal cutting, like massively frugal. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5. Okay. 6. Whoops. 7. Don't cut the wrong size. Do not cut the wrong size. Here's 8. Be very, very careful as you're doing this. Okay, here's so far. This is our extra. All right, so I've got 8 of these. And then now I need to do the rest of the 2 inch. And I've got 2 rows. And I can just go all the way up. I'll just go all the way up. You know, there's part of this up here that will be trash. Remember, do 2. Don't do 2.5. It's 2, 2, 2. That's what we're at. All right. So I can cut that strip. And then I have in the pattern, if you're using not a fat 1/8, that you can cut these strips and sew strips and subcut. So I am going to do that for these 2. All right, so I've got, so for these 2, I will cut a black. If I use this black, if I decide to do this though, I may want to fussy cut some of the images so that, you know, and I also would want them all going, well, the block, you know, the block is got, here's what it looks like. So if I did do strips, you know, the direction would be the right way. I'd have to be sure on the, you know, black, yeah, the direction would be the right way, like this, and I would be, you know, here on facing you, like they'd all be facing the right, correct way for me. Top of the tomatoes, top of the hedgehog. But they're so, you know, like I'm not sure I want to strip with this particular fabric. It's okay if it were this one because I really not trying to work on image placement. But if you're trying to work on image placement, you might need to do them individually so that you get exactly what you want. So I may just cut a strip and take a look. Well, it pays to actually open your fabric all the way up. So my my width is going the, you know, so to do a strip, if I'm going to use these guys, I'm going to have to cut them by hand, and you know, each one instead of doing a strip. So I'm gonna do a couple and lay it out. So what do you think? I I really like it. I'm able to get enough images. I did have this little one, the watering can that didn't make it. I may save it and sew a bunch of these little ones together to get a 2.5 inch square. Well, no, that's 2 inches. Well, I might save them anyways and sew them. Who knows? But yeah, see that work, and they're dark enough and they don't blend in too much. So it's a go. I'm gonna sew it up. So this turned out so much better than I hoped. Look at this. Look how good that looks with all the fussy cutting. So I did just pretty much cut the strips like they were on the end like that, but there was little bits of extra. And so what I did was sew some of them together to get a 2.5 inch square from my bin. And then all I had left was this little bit here. And I did want to show you, this was left from the fat eighth, and then this one long strip from the fat eighth. Now in the pattern, if you're cutting this from background, you have plenty of fabric, but if you want to cut your background from a fat eighth, you're going to need to be really frugal. You can do strips, but you're still going to need 2 of those squares. 2 of these squares will have to be like I showed you when I was just cutting, because they can't come from a strip. I ended up, because I wanted to fussy cut these, you know, I positioned them as I was trimming. You know, I didn't want to do the strips, but I left the pattern with the strips. I also added into the pattern this diagram. So the diagram is showing you the layout that I was doing on the video. So you can have that now in print, but I did put strips, whereas on the video you see I had all squares, so you could, you know, you're just doing strips from that point up. You know, I don't know exactly what that size is, but it's just 2 by whatever. And I also put in there, because I thought, yes, it would be fun to see the this layout, to see the layout there in a different rotation. So I did this, and you can see that in the pattern now as well. So I just showed you 2 different rotations. One which is really, you know, symmetrical and had looks like floor tile, and the other one was just kind of a little interesting. Made one like that, but then has those waves. So they're just something fun, something different. And here's the other block. So let me see. I can just hold up the 2 of them. Now I'm not doing the sashings yet, and next week we'll talk about sashing fabrics and also the setting fabric, you know, what I'm doing for that horizontal on the pattern for the layout. Can I reach that? Yeah, here we go. So next week we'll talk about the fabrics I'm planning for these, you know, and then I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with framing the blocks. You have seen a few people show their blocks with their frames already. They know what colors they're going to use, but I am debating. Now let me tell you the fun part. Koala Studios, which are the same main company that does my baby lock machine and all of this gorgeous furniture that I have, the furniture over here, which they make something similar to this now, not that exact unit, but they also do these wonderful Koala chairs. And this is the chair that I use, and they are giving one of these away. And so my community can go and enter. They're doing this exclusive for my community. So it has this foot rim under here. You can lower and raise this. You can tilt the back, all those good things. And it is beautiful. It comes in a couple of different cushion colors so that it can coordinate with your environment. So in the description box under the video and at my website today is a link. It'll be open for a week, and you should go and enter. You might have a chair coming to you in the future. Okay, my friend, I am super excited about my block. Just had so much fun playing with this fabric. Look, oh, so pretty. This pink is so pretty. I think it's that ballerina pink again, right? So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.